Hello everyone, welcome to another class to go. I am featuring the You Are Remarkable stamp set. There are no dies or punches that go with this one, but I'm going to show you 4 incredible cards that you can make using this stamp set. I'm really excited. Now there are 3 different ways that you can earn this class to go for free. The first is to place a $50 order using the host code, and the host code will be listed in the video description, so you can copy and paste that right into my online store. The second way is with a $100 order in my online store with the host code. With that $100 purchase, you're going to get the class to go for free. You're also going to get 5 bonus cards from my basket of cards. Now those cards may not coordinate with the You Are Remarkable stamp set. Those are going to be 5 cards, just chosen at random, and they are going to just be a gift to you to use and to inspire you in future projects. The third way to get the class to go is to place a $150 order. Now with a $150 order, you do not need to use the host code. You are going to earn the class kit for free. You're going to get those 5 bonus cards, and you're also going to get a full package of the embellishments we're using this week. And this week we're using the gorgeous brass butterflies. They are stunning. These are one of my favorite embellishments, and I love pulling them out, especially at springtime. So you'll get a full package of these with that $150 purchase. Plus, you're also going to get Stampin' Rewards. You're going to get lots of benefits at that $150 level. And of course, you'll get that class to go for free. This You Are Remarkable stamp set is going to be released tomorrow on March 4th with our new online exclusive release. So if you're looking for this in the online store today, you may have to wait till tomorrow to purchase this, but you'll definitely want to have this. Now, if you don't have this, you can substitute products that you do have for your class to go. Let me show you the card we're making today. It is amazing. So I absolutely love this card. So this is a fun fold card. So this little flap lifts up, and then we have the little side flaps that lift over, and then there's another flap that lifts up. So you have room to write a greeting if you want. Now you can also write down here if you want, but I just love how fun this cute little fun fold is. Now I'm using some designer series paper this week. We'll use this same designer series paper all week. This is the Unbounded Beauty DSP. This DSP is in our annual catalog, and it features the new in colors that were new last year, the 2024-2026 in colors. They are gorgeous papers, and you'll see more of these all week long because I'll be using this paper all week. It is a stunning paper, and I thought that the colors and the flowers and the DSP coordinated so well with this You Are Remarkable stamp set that I wanted to pull it out. So you'll get all of the supplies in your kit. So let's go ahead and make this card. So for the base of my card, I have a piece of Pretty in Pink. This is 5.5 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of Basic White that is 5 1/4 by 4. We're actually going to stamp on this one, so I'm going to set that one aside. And then I have a couple of pieces of DSP. Now each of the DSPs is 4.5. Each of the DSPs is 4.5 by 5 1/4. I had to really think about it. Now on the pink, the Pretty in Pink DSP, it is scored at 1/2 inch from the right side. So there's a score there. And then on the Summer Splash piece, it is scored at 1/2 inch from the left side. And we're actually going to grab our paper trimmer, and we're going to do a little bit of trimming on these. Your pieces will come scored, so just make sure you look for those score lines. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to see on designer series paper, so you can kind of feel for them, but they will come already pre-scored in your kit, so make sure that you look for those. I also have a piece of Summer Splash, and let me see if I have the measurements for this. This one is 2.5 by 3, and then it's scored at 1/2 inch. We're going to come back to this one in a little bit, and I have a few more pieces that we're going to do some stamping on, so we'll talk about those when we get there. But let's do some trimming. Let me grab my paper trimmer, and we're going to do some trimming on these. So we're going to start with our Summer Splash one. Now the score line, remember, is on the left side. So we are going to score diagonally from the top of that score line, diagonally down to the bottom right. Now I said score, but I mean cut. We're going to cut from the top here down to the bottom here. So I am going to line up. I'm going to start by lining up the bottom point right in the center of my track. I'm going to hold that in place, and then I'm going to kind of pivot until I get that score line right into the top of my track. Now when I'm cutting at an diagonal like this, I like to kind of start the blade in the middle, because if you push it up against that point, you could kind of crush that point. It's not a very sturdy piece, so you can kind of crush it. So I like to start my blade in the middle and then just cut. so we have this. So you still have that full intact score line over here. And then you have this diagonal piece. Now, do not get rid of this piece because we are going to use it on tomorrow's project. So you need to save this piece for tomorrow's project. So I'm going to set that aside. Now we're going to do the exact same thing to the pretty and pink piece, except we're going to score diagonally from the top right to the bottom left. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to make sure that that score line's on the right. I'm going to line up that point down here in my little track. And then I will just hold that in place and pivot until I get that score line corner right in place. I will put that blade in the middle and we'll score that. Now again, you're going to keep this piece. You're going to put that aside. We're going to use it tomorrow. So put that aside. And then we have this piece again with our full score line intact. So we are ready to go with our fun fold. So now we need to do some stamping. So I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper. So I just have a little piece here. So a little piece of scratch paper. We're going to bring in that white piece again. And I'm going to grab some of the stamps from the stamp set. So I have the leaf in the Summer Splash. We're going to open that up. What we're going to do, we're going to create our own little background piece here using the Summer Splash and the Pretty and Pink ink. So let me grab that one too. And the flower. And we want to make this a little bit lighter. We don't want this to be super prominent. So I'm going to be stamping off. And we're going to have to do these kind of one at a time. This one's going to be a little bit more time consuming than your regular background because we have to go flower, leaf, instead of typically I would just do one stamp. So I'm going to stamp that on scratch paper. And I'm going to stamp it right onto my basic white piece. And you're going to get a much lighter look. I hope the camera's going to pick that up. All right, now we're going to go to the Summer Splash. And we are going to, now before I stamp it off, I do want to point out one little thing. There is a little stem right here. That is what we're going to line up with the flower. The rest of them are leaves, but there is a tiny little stem that pokes out the top there. So that's what we're going to line up. So I'm going to stamp that off on my scratch paper. And then I'm going to line up that little stem as best I can. We're going to stamp that down just like that. Okay, now we're going to keep going and I'm going to kind of rotate my flowers a little bit. That way my stems and my flowers all go in different directions and it looks more, you know, organic that way. It doesn't look so you know, put together. Now, if you get things off a little bit, you know, they're not touching, it's not perfect, that's okay, guys. This is just a background. Please don't stress too much about this. All right, now I'm going to stamp a flower down at the bottom here. And yeah, we'll go to our green, to our leaf. Now, there's not a big piece of green down here. There's not a lot, but I am going to stamp a little bit. And then up here, we're going to do one, and then we're only going to do one more, and we'll do that kind of right nestled in that way with our stem going off the side, going kind of this way. Okay, perfect. Now a lot of the middle is going to be covered up, so I'm really not worried about making sure that that middle is covered. We just wanted to get a nice little base of stamping on the bottom. Okay, we're going to come back to those flower pieces in just a minute. Let me move this scrap piece. We are going to stamp, you know what, I didn't get, oh here, yeah, I did get it out. It's right here. You have a piece of white. This is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. We're going to stamp on this as well. So I'm going to grab the big flower. This is the line image that these pieces will actually fill in, and I'll show you that in just a second. But we are going to strategically ink this because I only want when I ink this up, I want the flower to be in Pretty and Pink, and I want the stem to be in Summer Splash. Now, because this is a photopolymer stamp set, it's going to be easy to strategically ink this, as I've called it. If you want to stamp this twice, you can actually just mask off the leaves, ink up the flower, pull the mask off, and stamp it, and then do the same with the flower. Mask off the flower, ink up the leaves, and stamp it. But we're going to do this all in one go because I can see directly through. I am going to just kind of make sure that I am only inking up the flower with my pink. And so that kind of means like going to different corners just to make sure that I am not getting any of the leaf. Now, if you start with the Pretty and Pink, if you get any on the leaf, That's okay, because when we strategically put the ink on the leaves, the darker Summer Splash ink will cover up that pretty and pink. All right, so now we're gonna go in with our leaves. Now we're not gonna need the very bottom of the leaf, so I'm really not even gonna focus on that. And I'm gonna go all the way up to the corner up here, just to that little point of the ink pad, just to get the little stem. And then this little leaf here. So you can see that it is strategically inked up. I hope you can see that. So the Summer Splash is only on the leaves, and the Pretty in Pink is only on the white, or the flower. Okay, now we're gonna stamp this. We wanna get mostly all of the flower, and then some of the leaves down at the bottom. I'm gonna ink this up, and you're gonna see how beautiful this is with that strategic inking. So pretty, right? Now you can see I kind of missed those bottom of those petals there, but I'm not going to worry about it because we're going to fill it in with those filler stamp sets. So any places that we might have missed, it's all going to be covered up. So let's grab that Pretty in Pink ink. Actually, I'm going to leave my scrap paper here because we're going to stamp off. And this will line up this little skinny petal here, right there. I like to line up because that one is poking out right on the flower right there. So I like to, that's the part I like to make sure that I line up. Now doing this with a camera might be a little tricky because I can't get right over it, but you can always use a stamp positioner too. You can line these up with a stamp positioner. And isn't that stunning? Now you're not even going to be able to see that those little bottom petals didn't stamp all the way. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, that's it with our Pretty in Pink. So I'm going to close that one up before we get ink everywhere. And then we're going to do the same thing with the Summer Splash. We're going to line up that little stem, find that little stem that I told you. And once you have this in your hand, you can kind of see what I'm saying about the little stem. And then you can kind of rotate to line up those leaves a little better. And I don't think I got, oh, why did I stamp that off? I stamped that off first. You don't need to stamp it off, but that's okay. It still looks good. All right. Don't worry about stamping it off. I'm not sure why I did that. We're going to use that again. I'm not going to close that up. All right, let's finish up our flower though before we go back to our ink. I have Peach Pie ink, and we are going to stamp the center. Now this little center stamp, it looks so much like a little jelly bean. So pull this out for Easter too. You can make a little jelly bean card. That's exactly what it looks like. And then we're just going to stamp that in the center. Isn't that gorgeous? All right. I'm gonna close that up, and we're going to bring in the greeting. Woo! So sorry, drop that on my glass mat. That's always loud and scary. All right, I have another piece of Summer Splash. This one is 5 by 2.5, and it is scored in half at 2.5. This is going to be the first part of our little triple card here. So we're going to stamp our greeting on the inside. So I'm just going to fold that in half. We'll get our bone folder out in a minute and really burnish them down. But we're going to stamp this greeting, "You are remarkable," on the inside. Okay, and perfect. So pretty, right? Okay, we have one more little bit to stamp, and it is with our greeting. So I'm actually going to clean this off. So let me grab my cleaner, my little chamois, and I'm just going to clean off the Summer Splash here. We're going to let that dry for just a second. And I'm going to pull out my black Stampin' Right marker. This is my black Stampin' Right marker. This one is the only Stampin' Right marker that you can buy individually. The other ones are only sold in color groups. But this one is so great for journaling, especially with the newly designed markers. That bullet tip is so perfect for journaling and scrapbooks, or even writing a message in a card. I'm going to use the brush tip for this one, and I'm going to make sure this is dry. I'm only going to color that remarkable greeting in the center. I'm going to have to hold this up so I can see just a little bit better. I'm going to just get the remarkable, and I'm using the side of my brush, and I'm just making sure that that's the only part that is inked up. And I'm going to put the lid on that. Then we're going to bring this piece back in, and we are going to, I'm just going to breathe on it a little bit just to kind of re-moisten that ink, and we're just going to stamp this right here. Remarkable. Perfect. And then when you open the card, it says, "You are remarkable in every way." Isn't Isn't that adorable? So fun. And a fun technique. Now, remember, the Stampin' Write markers are different than the Stampin' Blend markers. You can only color on stamps with Stampin' Write markers because this is the same water-based ink that is in our ink pads. If you start to color with your Stampin' Blends, it's not going to stamp like this, first of all, and you could ruin your stamp that way. So don't color with your Stampin' Blends. Please only color with your Stampin' Write markers. Those are the water-based markers, so please only color with those. All right, so I think that's all of our stamping. So let's grab all of our pieces, and we are going to start assembling these. Let me grab a bone folder, and we're going to give those DSP pieces a little bit of a burnish. Make sure those are nice and folded just like that. And we are going to stick them on the back of this stamped piece. So I'm going to run adhesive down both of these sides. I'm going to use just Stampin' Seal. You can use liquid glue, tear and tape, whatever adhesive you are comfortable with, but just down those two long sides. And I'm going to just make sure that it's lined up at the bottom, that triangle is lined up at the bottom, and give that a little fold just like that. So that is now attached to the card, and I'll do it the same this way. I'll just make sure it's all lined up and then just fold that back piece over just like that. Okay, so isn't that cute? So fun. All right, now we're going to stick this whole thing down to our Pretty in Pink card base. So I'll use some more adhesive on here. We're going to bring in that 5.5 by 4.25 Pretty in Pink piece, and we'll just adhere this down just like that. All right. All right, now we have this little, this was 3 by 2.5. We are going to give that a burnish. And on this little 1/2-inch tab where it's folded, I am going to put some adhesive just along the top there. And we are going to glue that to this piece. So where we have the greeting inside, we're going to glue it to the back. So I'm going to just line up those score lines. Just put them up together. Just line them up like that. So now you have like that. You have like a little triple card here. A little tiny triple card. Isn't that adorable? And we're gonna stick this down. Did I stick this on with dimensionals? I sure did. This is, I think, the only thing with dimensionals, which is quite shocking for me. Normally I have a lot more things lifted up with dimensionals on a card, but this one just didn't warrant that. All right, so make sure you put this on the front. So we have our greeting on the inside. We're gonna put this right on the front. And then we'll stick adhesive all the way on the back of this one. Make sure you use plenty of adhesive so it doesn't come off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and close these, and then before I stick it down, I'm going to just kind of make sure that when it's in there, those little points are at the edge of that card, so that this will still close kind of right at the edge. And you can give that a little burnish and fold these in like that. All right. So pretty, right? So you're gonna open this up, you'll open up these flaps, and then you'll open up that piece again. So adorable, right? So pretty. Now we're not done. We still have to add our little butterflies here. So let's pull this one back up. We're gonna just add 2 of those brass butterflies. So let me grab my take your pick tool. We're gonna add a big one. Whoop. Add a big one up here. Oh goodness. Take your pick tool. Does not want to work today. And then we'll add a little one kind of right down here. Perfect. And that completes the card for today. Isn't it stunning? And what a fun little fun fold. Your friends are going to love this card. Adorable, right? All right, that was day 1. I hope you guys join me tomorrow for day 2. I have another beautiful card to share with you. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye.